Well, I guess now is as good a time as ever to start live streaming, and I just want to say welcome to all you. As some of you are probably going to be watching this after this live stream is done. Some of you are going to jump in now, but I'm excited just to be able to try this out and be able to connect with you guys as my subscribers. And yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Went for a good ride today, and I'm excited to do a little bit of just post-ride maintenance, talk about that. And my hope is just to talk about bikes with you guys and what bikes you ride, what bikes I've been riding lately, and just how all that's been. So pretty excited about that. So I'm just waiting here for people to jump on the stream. I'm hoping we get at least a few. I know it's pretty late in the East Coast right now. Holla holla. First one up is G Ledzima. First person to ever chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, dude. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I don't bore you too much. Looks like we got 4 people watching now, which is pretty good. If you're there, just go ahead and put a comment in the comment box so we can know that you're here with us and say hello. I'm excited to try this out. Man, it's been crazy. I've been wanting to do a YouTube channel for a long time. I've seen so many people do it, and I finally thought, you know what, why not me? Why not be somebody who creates content on YouTube, interacts with people, and just see how things go. So it's been awesome to be able to just try it out, really. And I love the response. I'm amazed that in just a short 8 weeks, that's right, just 2 months, I have 1,000 subscribers now. What's up, Justin? Good to see you, man. And it's been so cool to just see it take off. Yeah, thanks, Mason. I appreciate that, man. I just love doing it. I really do. I started creating YouTube videos because I watch a bunch of videos online, and all the creators seem really good, but some of their content, just after a while, I just wish there was something a little different. And really, I think it was, I just wanted content that I enjoyed viewing. So I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not try it? And it seems to be working out pretty well. We're going to wait for people to jump in, but while we do, I'll tell you guys, I had a pretty awesome day today. I had fun filming with 2 of my buds, and Mason, you're probably my favorite on YouTube. Dude, that means a ton, seriously. I know you're probably just saying that to look good so I talk about you, but it makes me feel good, and so I'll talk about you. Who else we got? Can we talk about rigid forks? I've got a 2016 Pine Mountain one, and no one ever talks about how wonderful it is on the straights. Man, that would be a great video for me to make. I actually have never, well, maybe as a kid, but as an adult mountain biker, I've never ridden a rigid fork before. So I'd definitely be interested in trying. MTB Savant. Hey, man, glad to see you part of your first live stream, or glad to be part of. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, MTB Savant. You're one of those guys I look up to. You've got a lot of streamers, you've got a lot of subscribers, and you make great content. So I appreciate that, man. Thanks for jumping in. Anyway, so what I was starting to say was I had a great ride today. I started creating a video. 2 of my buddies went out, and we filmed for about 4 hours. And I have been super stoked on this Evil Reckoning that I have here. And so the dream I had was to be able to test this against the 2 other bikes that I was really considering. The first one being the Transition Sentinel, and the second one being the Kona Process 153 29er. So I went out today, I got both of those demos, and I was able to go out on the trails and try them out for the first time, and it was awesome. If you guys have ever been searching for a bike, I've never had the experience where I was able to go and test out the bikes that I wanted to try side by side. And the cool thing is, you quickly see the characteristic differences from the bikes as you jump on them. So it was cool to go down a line on my bike and go off a jump and go through a berm or 2 and then jump on a different one and just compare how those things are looking. Addy Shrock, this is so cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate you for tuning in, Addy Shrock. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about bike maintenance today. Really just post-ride maintenance. All of us go on rides, and up here in Washington, things get pretty muddy and nasty. So it's always good to talk about, what do you do post-ride? So maybe as I'm talking about this, you guys in the comments can tell me what you do post-ride. I'll try to catch up on the things that I see and read your comments out loud. Laser Beans. Dude, that's Laser Beans. That's a sweet name. If you don't have a YouTube channel, Laser Beans, and just pick another number. What's up, dude? I'm Justin. Can you run an XT 11x46 cassette with a SRAM drivetrain? Justin, that's a really good question. I was watching a video recently about the biggest rear cog on derailleur. So I don't know on the NX derailleurs, but I would assume that they can go up to 46 or 47. It just depends on their length. Somebody's going to be able to tell you that a lot more than I would. Let me guess. You want to put an 11 to 46 on your bike. I'm sure there's a lot of videos out there, and there's a ton of people making different cassettes for your bike. MTB Savant, always wipe and lube the chain. Yes. So before I do that though, MTB Savant, I'm a person who I go to the side of my house. I've got my hose all set up, and I always just hose down my bike. I'm careful not to hit any of the sensitive areas, including back by the rear cassette and by the crank. And then after that, I ride my bike around to dry it off, and then I go into my garage. And the first thing I do, you nailed it, wipe off the chain and make sure you lube it. Richard Bug, it feels like just yesterday you had 2,000. Richard, it's because I basically did just have 200 yesterday. Maybe I said 2,000. It was 200. All I usually do post-ride is clean, lube chain, and rinse off bike. I live in Washington as well. Oh, that's awesome, Mason. Yeah, so that's what I do. A big part of that, though, is, I don't know, most of you have done this before, but I just take a towel, and after I've rinsed it off, I just give my cranks just a couple of cranks backward. And the funny thing is, if you've been on a if you've gone on a ride, and maybe you've rinsed your bike off and never put lube on, it's a huge disaster. I've quickly seen I'm trying to think, rust on my chain, which has been terrible. So yeah, I just crank them backwards, and I just take a towel. I have a ton of shop towels. And I just hold it on the bottom and just crank it back maybe 10, 20 times. It's not as easy as some people make it look. Especially because I waited too long. And you can quickly see just all the dirt and grime and all the crap that gets on there. So I like to move around. And my goal is just to get as much of that junk off there as possible. And then the next thing you do is you grab your chain lube. Now, this has been something I would love to hear from you guys about. What chain lube do you use? There's a ton of options out there. And if I'm honest, I've heard mixed reviews about every single chain lube on the market from so many people. Some people swear by a certain brand. Some people curse other brands. So what ones do you guys use? And I've been using the T9. I've heard great things about this for cold weather riding, which in Washington, it's not that cold. The average temperature right now is about 40 degrees at the high of the day. There's not standing snow on the ground, but it's cold enough, and there's a lot of dirt and mud on the trails. So T9 is said to be great for wetter conditions. But let me know, what lube do you use? What one should I be using? I used to really like ProLink, but I heard that was only good for warm weather. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know. All right, let's catch up. What do you think of the SRAM X5 drivetrain? Laser beans. It's definitely a lower entry-level drivetrain, but there's nothing wrong with it. SRAM makes really good drivetrains, and I found I've used their X9 before, and even on the lower end range, they have great feel in their just derailleur trigger, and yeah, I've seen no issue with it, so I would think it was fine. Richard, I just used light speed chain line from Walmart. Richard, that is a very cheap way to go. I'd be curious how well it holds up. Lucas, sorry guys, I gotta go, but I love the channel and love that you're doing. Congrats on 1,000. Recently hit 100 myself. Lucas, awesome, dude. That's so great. I love when everybody gets out there and makes videos. My true feeling is I wish more people made videos because the best people are going to continue to grow, and that's what's important. Mike Weston, T9 for me. Yeah, Mike. I know Mike pretty well, and we've talked about chain lube before, and people have said great things about that. Mason, just whatever wet chain lube is at the bike shop, at least in winter. Yeah, I was at REI the other day, and they have some wet chain lubes. I've heard great things about them, but I'm trying to figure out which one is best for me. So I'm going to go and just lube my chain. Another thing people have a lot of discrepancy on is how much lube to put on their chain. I've heard people say every single chain ring. Me, personally, I just put a generous amount on the bottom and the top. I always have this where my lube gets stuck coming out. Might be time for some new lube because I don't think I have a ton in here. There we go. Not gonna lie, guys, When you know people are watching you, it makes things a lot more difficult. I don't think I've ever struggled so much putting lube on my chain. So I put a pretty good amount on, and then I like to just crank my chain backwards a couple times, because I think about on the cassette and the front chain, it's going to get that lube dispersed amongst the chain rings. And then after I do that, of course, what you have to do next is get your towel again and just wipe off the excess. Now, the goal here is not to clean, even though when you do this, you're still going to see a bunch of just dirt and residue come off. The goal is just to get that excess off so it's not sitting on your chain. So that's the first thing I do after a nice cold ride. I'll talk about the next thing I do. I'm going to catch up on some of these comments before. Ooh, some people came up with me. All right. Mike, you skipped G's hot bacon grease. I got to try that. Mike, I've never used bacon grease on my chain. Would be a first time. I'm sure it would smell great, but probably not work well. Justin, got to run dry lube out here in Vegas. Yeah, Justin, I lived in Phoenix for a little bit, and I would think nothing but dry lube. Trail features. Thanks, man. You are watching, and we are judging. Yes, you are, and I appreciate that. Trail features, man, I just want to say to you, thanks for following the channel, man. I really love your content. You have great videos, super high quality, and I'm excited to see you grow, and I hope that we grow at the same speed together and hopefully build a friendship. And I just want to say real quick, Trail features, I saw you came to Bellingham, man, and guess what? You're judging me right now. Thank you. I was totally watching my videos of you at Galbraith, and I had to judge you a little bit because I saw you go up the trails that I normally go up, and you fell off that first switchback, and I laughed not because I thought you were doing a bad job, even though you were. I laughed because I did the same thing when I was there. I went around that corner, I was like, I've never seen this before, and I went down, and every time I go by that switchback, I just laugh in my head a little bit, and now every time I go by it, I chuckle at myself and you too. So thanks for the great content, man, and thanks for joining the live stream. All right, so besides post-ride, we're talking post-ride if you've joined. Looks like we got 14 people in here now. Besides, obviously, rinsing your bike off and getting the dirt off, we talked about wiping off the chain and then lubing it. What else do you guys do on your post-ride bike maintenance? One thing that I do is I like to check the stanchions on both my front fork and my rear shock. That's an area where a lot of dirt and grease can build up, and so just taking a towel and wiping those down is always a good thing to do, which I need to do. MTB Savant. I eat a burrito usually. Dude, I wish every time I went on a ride, I could get a burrito just to fill up after that, because that would be great. So next thing, I'm going to grab a rag and just wipe down my stanchions. Like I said, I didn't do any of this maintenance today. I probably should have. But you know what? I just got too excited after my ride and wanted to come talk to you guys. So I thought it'd be more fun to do it with you. So I wipe off those stanchions. And another thing I love to do post-ride is when you're wiping off your stanchions, just to look at, if you have higher end bikes, lots of RockShox and Fox bikes have this, you can see where your travel was. And I was actually at the Transition Bike Shop today getting a Sentinel demo. That's a long travel 29er. And it was cool to talk to the guy as he was helping me set up the suspension. I know how to set up suspension, but he insisted on helping me, which I appreciated. And he was like, yeah, go right around the parking lot. And he was out there with me and see how deep into your suspension you can get. He goes, because your goal is going off a speed bump or a curb and you're just pushing all your weight, is you just want to barely get all of your travel out. Because on the trail, you're going to experience features where that might happen, whether you come up short on a jump or whatever. And that way, you're getting full travel out of your fork, and it's going to operate best for you. So at the end of a ride, I always check where that indicator is and make sure I'm getting full travel. If I'm not, then I need to make some tweaks. And if I am getting full travel and way too soon, then I need to make some tweaks as well. And being that I have a new Evil Reckoning, just a new bike really, I've had to make a ton of tweaks to my suspension, which I'll talk about in a second. All right, let's see what else we got on here. Trail features, thanks man. I plan to hit that trail again next year. Trail features, if you get out here again, you better hit me up, dude. I will cancel some plans to come ride with you. I think that would be sweet. Mason, I have to check my right hand crank because it comes loose. Might be time for an upgrade after every ride. Yeah, Mason, I'm trying to think right hand crank. Every crank is different, but either some Loctite can really help with that, or it may just be time for a crank upgrade. And those are not cheap. A good crank, I mean, even an entry-level one is going to cost you $100, but something to think about. Laser Beans. Laser Beans, thanks for being you. I love that name. What are your options on the Chinese carbon frames? Oh, your opinion, sorry. I want to get a good full suspension without selling a leg, and I've heard a lot of good things about them. Well, first off, Laser Beans, selling a leg is actually a terrible idea because you need your legs to mountain bike. Selling a kidney or even a lung, I mean, I hear those are pretty good. That's a better option. All jokes aside, yeah, I have no experience when it comes to Chinese carbon frames. I'm really interested in music, and I'm interested in a couple of things, other just random hobbies. And I'm never a guy to go out of my way to kind of do a cheaper option. I'd rather go to a trusted brand or a trusted just concept and stick with that. So that works well for me. But honestly, if you do go the carbon Chinese frame, which I've heard other people do, let me know what you think. And you said here you've swung the leg over and heard a lot of good things about them. Ask those people, man. They're going to know more than me. And at the end of the day, if it works well, if it's strong and stable, then why not, really? But that's up to you. And one thing is, a lot of people, they rail on everything's from China. Well, even the nice things are made from China. And I always joke, this is my MacBook. It's a Chinese MacBook. That's because all of them are made in China, even though they're designed in California. All right, next up, Justin. You have any review info on the Patrol or the Scout? Justin, I do. And the reason is I have tried a Patrol. I thought the Patrol, and this was probably 8 months ago, I thought the Patrol was my dream bike. I talked about it a lot. I love that it was 160mm travel front and rear with 27.5 tires. Now they have 170mm front, 160 out rear. And then riding it, I was a little underwhelmed. It wasn't a bad bike. I've ridden Giant Reins before, and those are great. It was just that it didn't do anything that made me think, man, this is the best bike I've ever ridden. I have felt that way about Evil. I have a feeling I'll feel that way about bikes like the Yeti, especially the SB55 or the SB6. But the Patrol, kind of to wrap up my question, sorry, I get a little distracted. It's a really good bike, especially now that they have their SBG designs. I'd be curious to ride it again. I'd love to tell you about my reviews on the Sentinels I demoed today, but I won't tell you that until my next video. But I will say after riding it, I really want to try the new Patrol. As far as the Scout goes, the Scout's a great bike. I've got a buddy who has one, and he raves about it. It handles big hits. It handles even, I would even say a day at Whistler. While I wouldn't pick that as my first bike, it would be a fine bike there. And it's going to be just a ripping trail bike for stuff that we ride most of the time. All right. Sorry, I got to go back up. Mike, wipe my dropper poster really well and leave it up to dry out. Mike's a friend of mine, and he's had some issues with his dropper post. He has a Giant Anthem SX. I had the same dropper post and had no issues with it, but some people have to be really cautious about those. Eric, what else have you upgraded on the Rally? Ooh, Eric, I will talk about that. Give me a minute, though, man. I've done a couple things, and there's a couple things I want to do. Ethan, you're my bro, dude. I love Ethan. Yo, you accidentally posted the pre-stream. Did I? Because the pre-stream is just me being frustrated as heck, so I should probably go check that out. Richard Bud, I already have a pretty good mountain bike, but my friend doesn't have a bike. Any suggestions for a very cheap bike? Richard, that's one thing I want to make a video about. I've seen a ton of YouTube videos about Walmart bikes, and whatever you do, don't go buy a Walmart bike. All those videos, every time I see them, I watch them, right, because I think they're interesting, and I just go, man, I would never ride those on the trail. So for a really cheap bike, ask a friend if they have an older Specialized or Trek or a Cannondale or some bike laying around with a little bit of front travel, and get on that bike. Those bikes were made to last really well back in the day, so they're worth getting. All right, I gotta catch up because I am behind. Trail features at Laserbeans. Personally, when I'm about to land a 4-foot drop at full speed, the last thing I want to ask is, did I pay my health insurance this month? Thank you, Trail features. Ethan, RockShox or Fox? Both, but if I had to pick one until the day I died, I would probably go with RockShox, and a lot of that was based on my ride today. So I'll talk more about that later. Richard, Mason, the same thing happens on mine, but with the left crank. Oh, that's Richard. That makes sense to me because my left cranks, that's where the end cap is, and so I would think putting some Loctite on that would fix it. I took it out Loctite after the last ride, and it came loose again, so I took it out and used a little bit more, hoping that works. Yeah, Mason, Loctite, sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. There's probably some tutorials online on how to make it work. Do you have any recommendations on starting a YouTube channel? I've thought about starting a YouTube channel, but know absolutely nothing about editing and filming. Mason, starting a YouTube channel, you need a lot of unique skills that a lot of people don't think about. For me, starting one, it actually came pretty naturally because I had developed a lot of the skills in what I do for work. Basically, you have to know how to film, edit video. You should have a good handle on Photoshop or some sort of video editing for thumbnails. Then the other thing is you have to be good at presenting. Talking to a camera for a lot of people is really difficult. For me, that's part of just something I do. So I love talking to people, very extroverted. I can naturally keep a conversation flowing. So that's another skill you need to have. And then besides that is just coming up with new ideas. Either seeing a niche online that's not being filled or figuring out what niche you want to fill. So when it comes to starting a YouTube channel, you've got to have passion. You've got to have the skills that go with it. And the last thing is you've got to just be persistent. I've only been at this for 2 months, and it's been difficult amongst family and job and just a ton of things going on. It's hard to keep your head pushing forward and creating good stuff. So you just got to have determination with that as well. Okay, Ethan, it's almost midnight where I am right now, so I'm going to take a shower. Don't end it for the next 20, please. This is really fun. Oh, Ethan, dude, I really appreciate that. I probably will end it in the next 20 minutes, only because I hate live streams that are super long because I love to catch up on them. Justin, I'm deciding between the two NX builds, and here in Vegas, it's Rocky and Rowdy. The Scout probably. Yeah, I think, Justin, the NX transition bike builds are awesome. So if you're in the Vegas area and you're deciding between a Scout and a Patrol, I would say this. If you are doing more jumps and just long, steep technical descents and you want as much travel as you can get and you tend to go to a lot of lift access areas, then the Patrol is for you. If you are more of just a dedicated trail rider, or that's what you do most of the time, here in Bellingham, there's a lot of trails. And so anybody on a Scout is never going to get overwhelmed. It's going to be a great bike. So I would say go with the Scout. If you're not afraid of 29ers too, definitely check out the Sentinel. Sorry, not the Sentinel. Definitely check out the, I'm trying to think of the name, Smuggler. Thank you. That's a short travel 29er. And those are awesome. Demoed one of those before. They're great bikes. But you have to like 29ers. All right, let's keep going down. Our new friend Georgios. Hello, Georgios. Have you or do you plan on trying foam tire inserts? I was at the bike shop today and I said, have you tried the Cush cores? And the mechanic said yes. Some of them are trying them out. They're great. They're terrible to install, but yeah, I am notorious for just like denting my rims, so I really want to try them out. I'm just a little worried about installing them and if I get a flat out on the trail. Richard, okay, I've been looking for a nice used bike on Bike Blue Book. Yeah, that's a great place to look, Richard. I'm a huge fan of Craigslist and eBay. Anywhere you can buy something used, it's going to save you a lot of money. And right now, insider tip here, eBay has a ton of deals because bike shops throughout the country are trying to get rid of their old inventory. So on the side, I actually like to do bike flipping. I'll buy a bike for pretty cheap, ride it once or twice, and then sell it here. And I sell it totally, just tell somebody, bought it on eBay for a good deal. Just trying to make my money back. So you can get a really good bike for a really, really good deal. I bought a Process 111 back in the day, and I think I made like $600 on selling that bike. I got it for like $2,000. Now, it's not cheap for some people, but it's a good way to go. Trail features. Question. Sorry, I missed it there, trail features. What do you do for work? You have a great stage presence that comes with a lot of public speaking. Trail features, that is actually something that a couple people have asked me now. Some people have pushed me pretty hard about it. That's something I'm keeping locked down, top secret. I have a really cool, really interesting job, and my viewpoint on it is I would rather tell somebody face-to-face and talk about what I do, because people have a lot of questions about my job. They think it's really cool. Everybody has heard of it, but not a lot of people talk about it. So what do I do for my job? I will tell you this. This is the only tips I will give you. In my job, I've had to do things like video editing, making videos, Photoshop, graphics, communications with people, public speaking and presentations, and just working on the fly and doing a ton of stuff. My job includes doing just a ton of different things. So is public speaking part of it? Absolutely, but I can't wait to ride with you, man, so I can tell you what I actually do. All right, G. Ledsma, he sells snake oil. Yes, that is a, dude, how do you know? Everyone knows about snake oil, but no one wants to talk about it. Mike, this beats ESPN. Keep it up, Josh. Thanks, Mike, I appreciate that. Considering there are a lot of snakes in the Pacific Northwest, he must be pretty good at it. Yeah, there's no snakes here. I watch videos of people in Arizona and other areas and all the snakes, and I'm like, not for me, dude. Thanks for all your input. No problem, Justin. I appreciate that. Considered Huck Norris as alternative. Nobumoto, that's a mouthful. Nobumoto. Thanks for joining, dude. Appreciate it. I don't know what you're asking about. Considered Huck Norris as alternative. Alternative to? I don't know what you're talking about. So fill me in. Maybe I'm missing something. Eric, welcome to the chat. Don't know if you've talked yet. Do you have a Strava? I do. Recently, I've really been forgetting to use it, but I love Strava. So yes, and I need to put a link in that. So yeah, Eric, I will do that. I don't know what it is, so I can't even tell you right now. I'm reading an article right now on Huck Norris. I don't know who Huck Norris is, but it sounds like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, obviously the best man on earth. So Huck Norris is a mountain biker. Yeah, sounds good. I rode over a coral snake once. Texas has no chill. Dude, trail features, Texas has good temperatures this time of year, it sounds like. Even though I saw that it was snowy there the other day, which is crazy, but running over a snake, that's different. All right. Nobumoto. Oh, tire inserts. Let me go back. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yes. Huck Norris. I haven't heard a thing about Huck Norris. I picked up a Cushcore pamphlet today at the bike shop because that's the one I've heard a ton about because people here use them. And I saw the Huck Norris and I thought, that's a great title for an insert for a tire. But I know nothing about him. So, yeah, I haven't considered it. I really haven't looked into Cushcores very much. They just look like exactly what I need for my bike. So, yeah, thank you. Artakaya, or Kaya, thanks for joining, by the way. I remember you saying that someone gave you the Evil bike behind you. How did you get that? I wish someone gave me the Evil bike. I paid for that with my good old hard-earned cash. So no one gave that to me. And if they did, I would not tell you because I would want them to keep getting more. Mike, we just have slugs and gator snakes up here, but lots of great coffee. That's true. You don't get to run over coffee on the trails, but there's lots of great coffee. Huck Norris, our tire inserts similar to Cushcore. Yeah, thank you. I figured that out. I don't know if they're good or not, though. Richard, Arizona also has good temperatures. Yes, they do. Right now is like the golden time to be in Arizona. I miss it, but the summer is absolutely terrible. Good, I finally caught up on the chat. Oh, Eric, rally upgrades. Okay, Eric, fine. I won't talk about post bike maintenance. I'll talk about the rally a little bit. So let me. I'll just scoot this here. I'll take my Evil off the bike rack. And bring in the Rally, which has been such a great bike. Man, I cannot speak more things about this. I'm going to take my nerdy little lights off. I use this bike to ride to work sometimes, and so it gets dark at 4:30 here. So I have to make sure I have some lights on there at night when I ride home. All right. So let's catch up on the just on the conversation. Oh, that's the last conversation. So, how much was your bike stand? Oh, that's a good question. It was an Amazon bike stand. I bought it probably like a year and a half ago. I think it was only $70. I am so cheap in so many ways, so I'm always going to be cheap on what I buy. All right, so bike upgrades. Since my Rally Toggle video, which was the first video I made on YouTube, I think I made a point of view video that wasn't very good when I was still injured, so I took it down. But the Toggle review was the first video I really made. So a couple of upgrades. Since the video, on the video I talked about, I upgraded to the SRAM Level Ts. I got some new rotors for that, some center lines. I still haven't put them on though, so I need to do that. Another upgrade is I finally got, well, let's talk about the fork first. I got a RockShox Yari. I'm a huge eBay shopper. I love finding things for great deals, and so I was looking for a fork upgrade. I wanted to find one that was 27.5 plus /29. And so there was a lot more RockShox options out there than Fox, though I was looking at both. And I finally found one for a great deal. And I'll tell you, I think I paid $300 for this RockShox Yari. It is a 2018. It was a bike takeoff of a used bike, and it was the exact steer tube length that I needed for where I wanted my bars to be at. So I got it for $300, and I'm selling my son's Word, my old one, to my friend Jesse for $100. So $200 upgrade for a 150 travel fork. What comes on here is a 120, plus you got the big tires. So that together, going up to 150 is a whole lot of travel. So that was the first big upgrade I did. All right, I gotta catch up on the chat here. Justin, what stand are you using? I don't know the brand of it. We'll call it the orange Amazon stand because I found it on Amazon. If I come up to the PNW, can we night ride? Too many deer at night here in Austin, Texas. Carbon fork upgrade for the rally. Yeah, a carbon rigid fork would be pretty fun. But yeah, can we night ride? Absolutely. I've got enough night riding lights for a ton of people, so we'll totally do that. Ethan, are 510s or other flat pedal shoes acceptable as sneakers? I'm broke after buying a Trek X7 and need a new pair of shoes. If biking shoes don't work, are there any sneakers that work for biking? Ethan, dude, you're still my bro, man. I love you, dude. I actually made a video about this, but decided not to post it because I didn't know if people would want to talk about it. You should go and buy a pair of 510s, but wait until they have a sale. So my first pair of flats, these are like 510 Freerider, some number, I think 6s. Anyway, 6s or Roman numerals are really difficult. Anyway, I got these were originally $120. They had a crazy sale where there was a coupon online, and these ended up being $41. $41, and these are just normal Freerider shoes. They're awesome. Just got great grip. They were so good that I sent a text to two of my buds to go get them themselves because they couldn't believe it. So I would say wait till you get a good deal and go buy a pair. And here's why. Sneakers are fine. I used a pair of Adidas Sambas, and those worked great because they didn't have too much give over the pedal. But I was killing my shins, and nothing had the stability that a shoe like a Flat 10 or Gyro, G-I-R-O, I think it's Gyro. They have a bunch of shoes for pretty cheap too on Amazon. I would encourage you, Ethan, that's the best way to go. Until then, use a skateboard shoe. I would encourage a thicker soled skateboard shoe or Adidas Sambas. They work great too. I don't know if you have those though. All right, catching up. Mike, yes, night riding is great up here. Trails are super fun in the dark. Yes, they are. Mason, I've got to go, but thanks for the live stream and keep doing what you're doing because I'm absolutely loving it. Mason, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Richard, 510s or Vans? 510s. It's no option. I mean, there's no comparison. 510s are designed to be ridden on a mountain bike. They last and last. I know just middle school students who get them because they don't wear whatsoever, and they can wear the same shoes for 2 years. So 510s. Georgios, do you ride trail bikes all year or fat bike for winter? I'm going to be riding my plus-size tire bike more for winter. I haven't ridden a fat bike. But yeah, I like to use my hardtail for the winter because it's just a lot easier on the trails. 510s, Vans. Vans will last a week. That is very true. DIYing, I don't know how to say that. Welcome, man. I like your channel. Keep up the good work. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. If I'm riding right, yes. Mike, yes. I was shocked at the difference mountain bike shoes made. Grip, power, pedaling made a huge difference. Yeah, Mike's one of my friends that I told about that deal. And we both couldn't believe just the benefit that it gave on uphill, going uphill and just getting pedal transfer to your pedals. Zach, trailer enduro bike for messing around on. Zach, first off, welcome to the chat. I would say either. If you've got a bike, go mess around on it. If you're just going to do some street riding, though, I would say a trail bike's going to be a lot easier because it has less travel. Nobumoto, do you have an opinion on unbranded Chinese carbon frames? Do I have an opinion? At first sight, Nobumoto, I think I talked about this a little bit. Maybe you were out of the chat. I would say don't go for it, only because Like my mama always told me, if it's too good to be true, my mother's not Southern, but sometimes I think of her that way. If it's too good to be true, don't do it. So I would say, if you can get a good aluminum bike, the prices are about the same. So I'd be curious to ask you, why do you want carbon so bad? Is it just because it's a little bit lighter because the weight seems the same? Aluminum's a lot more durable. I would say just get an aluminum counterpart that's just as good. What degreasers do you use for your chain? Oh, that's a really good question. I'll talk about that in a sec. SBD or A, beaters or flats? SBD! Let me talk about that in a sec. For bike cleaning and maintenance, and that's what this live stream was supposed to be about, I use good old Simple Green. Simple Green, brought to you by the makers of... I have no idea. I use this. It works really well. I use this for my chain cleaner. I do about half Simple Green, half water. I also use this as a bike wash. It's non-toxic, it's biodegradable, it doesn't hurt your bike paint or anything. It's cheap and it smells good. Reminds me of growing up as a kid and washing cars. So yeah, it's a great thing to use. That's a great question. So let me talk about pedals. Is it worth it to upgrade my pedals to ones like the Chesters? Zach, absolutely. I had terrible times with pedals until I upgraded. So I would definitely encourage you to get a pair of Chesters. What do I use most of the time? I use SPDs. Here's what I found. I had a ton of issues keeping my feet connected to my pedals. Chesters helped. The new pedals that I was talking about, 1UP Composites and the Kona Wawa 2s, they help a ton to keep your feet connected. But I use XT trail pedals. I actually got these for free. I was talking earlier about buying bikes on Amazon. I bought a bike on Amazon for, it was a Trek Remedy. It was 2017. And these came for free. So I switched and I bought some SPD 510s. And I never switched back because my feet never come off the pedals. They're always in the ideal position. And I've gotten in some big incidents and some bad situations with them. And I unclip easily. So I love SPD pedals. And I will be doing an SPD pedal video eventually. Once I save up some more money to buy the pedals that I want to review. All right. Purple Power degreaser works good too. Eric, yes, I've heard great things about that. What gloves do you use? Yeah, that's a great question. I love all these questions. It's fun just to chat with you guys and just talk life and talk bikes. Do you recommend pads and guards? Zach, I do. I'm going to talk about gloves for a second. For gloves, I just want to ride today, so I have to find my stuff. I don't like gloves that have straps on them. I used to use Fox gloves, just General Ranger ones or anything else I had. But I found that the gyro, these are gyros, they are like under $10 on Amazon. Maybe they were 15. That's why I bought them, because they're so cheap. But they don't have any straps on them, so they just slip on my hand, and I really like that a lot. And I've never had too much issues with calluses or anything else. As long as I have a glove on, I have no issues. But I go for gloves that don't have straps, and honestly, gloves that are cheap. Hand Up is a company I reached out to and just said, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I'd love to connect with you. I haven't heard anything back from them, but maybe they will eventually. And I'd love to get some of their gloves because they have the same design. They just have a lot cooler graphics, and they have cold weather gloves. So I'd recommend those. That's what I use. And going back up, do you recommend pads, guards? Yeah, I do, Zach. I actually got some shin guards because I was messing up my shins so much on flat pedals. I don't use those as much anymore because I don't have an issue with it, but I do use knee pads. The reason I use knee pads is because I've seen everybody else that I ride use them, and even though I've never had to use them before, I've never had an incident where I've needed them, I still wear them and I use them. So yeah, I do recommend pads. How to climb uphill more easily. Yes, 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 yes. Every video is about going downhill or going off jumps or having fun. The biggest thing I see is people riding their bikes uphill with their seat down. And I go, you're crazy. It's just going to take so much energy. You're going to have a terrible time. So yeah, I hope to do a video about that because that's true. Ethan, should I dry off my bike really well after washing or drip dry? Oh, and how necessary is degreaser? I know absolutely nothing about maintenance. Ethan, degreaser is really good, especially for your chain and just rear cassette, because that's just going to take any grease or grime that's on there off. So it's really good to use. And as far as drying goes, I like to drop my bike. I go take it for a quick spin around, and then I take a towel and just wipe off the rest. I think letting it air dry is just going to cause rust on any metal that isn't wiped off quickly. So I would make sure and wipe it down. What helmet do you use? Arda, I think that's how you say your name. Arda. Comment to me if it's not. I use Bell Super 2s. Once again, this super chat is making me realize how cheap I really am in my life. I got, if you see in the background here, I'll try to see so I can point it out to you. Right behind my saddle here, there's a kind of pinkish red one. I got that one super cheap for like 40 bucks. Broke it like 2 rides in, bought another one, and I loved it. It fits my head really well. So I just kept on the Bell Super 2 train. I broke a second one. I've had 2 terribly hard impacts on my head. The second time I separated my collarbone. It's called an AC joint separation. I have a bump here now, and I broke my wrist. I cracked my head, cracked my helmet, but my head was fine. So I swear by these things, and I love them. So that was a really good question. Bike check on your Evil. Zach, I haven't updated anything on it. It's all stock right now. Even some things that I don't like about it are stock. So yeah, no bike check needed yet. Padded shorts. Yeah, I think padded shorts are great. A lot of people, when they fall, they hit their hips on their side. So yeah, for sure. WD-40 for chain degreaser. Nobo Moto. Yeah, if you use WD-40, I'm trying to think what the title is. I have some back here. Live stream with daily mountain bike rider Josh. What's WD-40? It removes and protects. It loosens rust. It frees sticky mechanisms and drives out moisture. This is great as a cleaner to clean your chain off before you put some lubricant on there, some lube. WD-40 gets rid of water, but it attracts dirt. So using this, or GT86, I think is what is called. That's what I use. That gets rid of all the water and the dirt before you put on your chain lube. So not great as just chain lube. Never use that as just for that, but it works great. Arda, that's correct pronunciation. Awesome. Ethan, I'm paranoid for my shins after I failed crank flip. Yeah, Ethan, I'm with you, man. I play soccer, so getting guards isn't a problem, but is riding cross country with them okay? I've never seen anybody do it. Yeah, Ethan, I haven't either. I've never seen anybody do it. That's what these are back here, these 888 pads. I've never seen anybody use them. I always hit my right shin, so I decided to wear those out on the trail. Got a couple of weird looks and questions, but you know what? If it works for you, just get them. Ethan, you may consider getting a pair of Chesters if you don't have them, or going to clipless. 1, you're clipped in, and 2, if your feet do come unclipped, you're not going to kill your shins, which is a terrible experience. Where do you buy the helmet from? I bought it online. I think I got my last one from Evo. Evo is a Seattle company, and so it's a great one. MTB on the cheap video needs to happen. Yeah, I think it will. Trail Chasers, that's my bro. What's up, Trail Chasers? Good to see you, man. Congrats on 1K, man. Can't wait to meet up and ride sometime soon. You can just shoot me a shout out at the beginning of that video and we can call it even. Yeah, Leedsma, for sure. I will totally do that. Anyway, back to Trail Chasers. Yeah, thanks on the 1K. Just a shout out. And yes, me and Trail Chasers have been trying to get a meeting together for him to come up to Bellingham or me to go ride Duty Hill. If you don't follow Trail Chasers yet, go follow him, man. He's just a great guy and put some great content out. And he just dropped a video on some cheap dropper posts, which was one thing that I was looking for, and the Tokol ended up getting a cheap one off eBay. I got the Race Face Turbine, got it for only $150. You hear that one, Adam? It's a great deal, am I right, dude? But yeah, that's a great video to watch, so make sure you follow him. People commenting like crazy. Eric, what is your favorite place to ride in Washington? I would say Bellingham, but that's just because I live here. Duthie Hill is a really cool place because it's a progressive area. There's great places like Tiger Mountain, Tokol. There's a couple other just like more cross-country areas. And then there's a bunch of like islands that people have told me about. Orcas Island, also Vashon Island that has great trails. But I would say Bellingham just because that's my local trails and there's so much variety here. Justin, Trail Chasers, how's the new Evil? Trail Chasers doesn't have an Evil. He's looking at some bikes right now. Are you asking me how the new Evil is? Because my new Evil's been awesome. I love it. I feel so lucky to have it. I saved up a ton of money, and it's just a really sweet bike, and it's just been a huge one for me. Shh, I'm not, what? What? I'm not, Trail Chasers, I'm not talking about anything, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, yeah, so other upgrades for the Tokol, because somebody asked me about that. I don't even know if you're on the chat anymore. to let people know I'm looking at new models. Yeah, aren't we all? I mean, if you're a true mountain biker, I feel like me personally, I'm always looking for new bikes. I have some content friends like you, Mike, if you're still on here, my friend Matt. They are saints because they're just content with what they have. Some other upgrades is I got a dropper post. So like I said, I got that race face turbine for 140 or 50 bucks on Amazon, not Amazon, eBay. And with that, I had a KS Southpaw sitting around, so I put that on there. So that's been a big upgrade. Besides that, the thing I really desperately need to upgrade, and I think you can notice it in my pedal video, is these tires are not tubeless ready, which has not been a huge issue. Until now, there's a ton of sealant leaking out. So every time I let it sit for just a couple days or an hour or two, I have an issue with that. So I need to upgrade the tires. And besides that, my crank has a little bit of crankiness, so I want to upgrade the bottom bracket. It's just a simple thing. All right, guys, I'm probably only going to chat for about 4 or 5 more minutes, so just let you know if you have any questions or things you want me to touch base on, now's the time to get out on the chat and let them go. I just want to say thank you in a minute for my 1,000 subscribers and talk about where I hope the channel goes. So let me catch up on some comments here. How comfortable are you servicing an air fork, and would you do a how-to video? Yeah, Nobumoto, I am super comfortable. I thought this was my ego for a sec. Super comfortable with the rear shock services. Those are really easy. I've looked into doing fork lowers, but have not done it myself yet. So I'd have to try it out before I do a video about it. It seems like the lower isn't too difficult if you have the needed oils and just a little bit of experience. So maybe one day I'll do that. Thanks for answering my questions. Good night. Good night. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Besides mountain biking, do you ride any other types of bikes to cross-train? Yeah, I had a road bike and I had a trainer that I used when I was sick. I have like a stationary exercise bike, but no, I don't do a bunch of other biking. Do you wear clear glasses when biking? Because I always get bugs in my eye. Yeah, I get dirt in my eye, so I wear clear glasses or sunglasses most of the time. I didn't today when I went out riding with the 2 demo bikes I was riding and my bike, and I didn't have a huge problem, but it wasn't great. DIY, are you thinking to buy a new bike? Yeah, my friends always joke, like, I'm the guy who's always buying a new bike. So, am I thinking about it? I mean, I'm always thinking if there's a bike I should buy, but right now, I'm pretty content with what I have. I feel so blessed with that evil. Mike, happy with the anthem, but I did get some bike envy during the 5 minutes I rode your evil. Yeah, Mike's a shorter guy, but jumped on my medium, and it climbed like no other. Trail Chasers, Max is shorty all the way. I can also hook you up with some Trucker Code tubeless sealant. I got endless stuff. Yeah, Trail Chasers, if you have that, dude, I would love to hook up when we ride. And yeah, the shorties, those look like great front tires because they just have a bunch of grip. I'm curious how they work in the summer, though, when you don't need as much grip. But I want to get some Maxxis 27.5 by 2.8 tires. I'd love a DHF up front and a DHR2, but guys got a dream, right? You should come to Highland at some point. I'm saving up to go and rent, trying to get into downhill. Yeah, Highland Mountain Bike Park, I've seen a ton of videos on there from Seth's Bike Hacks. This goes with Phil's. It looks awesome. Zach, will you ever buy a dirt bike? Zach, will I ever buy a dirt bike? I actually have one. I grew up dirt biking. I've been dirt biking since I was about like 8 years old. I think that attributes to why I love mountain biking so much. So I do have one. It's at my dad's house. I don't ride it a ton, but I love mountain biking now. Dirt biking is so much fun. It's just not as much as what I'm into right now. Can you recommend a tire set for trail riding, like Maxxis Aggressor rear and DHF front? Yeah, if you get an Aggressor rear and a DHF front, Justin, that's going to be a great setup. Shorty up front works well, and they have the Maxxis Minion SS, they have the Minion DHR, and for the rear, Maxxis has so many great tires. You'll see a ton of people riding a bunch of different ones. You can't go wrong. Also, the High Roller 2 is a front and rear. Great option. Have you ridden Leavenworth or Wenatchee? They have awesome trails too. Eric, yes, they do. I have ridden Leavenworth one time, talking to a bunch of dudes who have ridden there. It's a great place to ride. I haven't ridden Wenatchee. Haven't heard a ton about that. Trail Chasers. Dropping lowers is pretty easy if you got flat sockets. Otherwise, you'll knacker up the air cap. Yeah. And Trail Chasers, cool thing now, all the new 2018 forks, they don't need the flat sockets because it's all the rear cassette tools, which is pretty nice, so you don't have that issue as much. All right, let's catch up and close. Nobumoto, hey dude, thanks for answering my questions. Of course, man. I've been digging your videos and hope you keep posting your high quality content. I will, dude. I appreciate that. Our dirt jumpers are worth it. The idea of BMX, but I'm suffering a broken wrist from my first time on one. I forgot there wasn't suspension. Yeah, dirt jumpers are great. especially if you have a pump track or you have dirt jumps around you. They're awesome, Ethan. I would totally say do that. What dirt bike is it? It is a Honda. It's a Honda, I think it's a CBR 400. Like I said, I have it. My dad's super into dirt bikes, and so he's got a ton. I had a Honda 650L, which was a road one that I had. I had a Suzuki 400 DRZ Supermoto that I rode on the street for a while. Actually, I had a Harley Sportster 1200 that I rode on the street. I don't know what my current dirt bike is, but it is a Honda 400. He's also got like an older Honda 250 XR. That's a fun one. So there's a bunch of dirt biking nerd tips for you. I love dirt bikes. I love the idea. Thanks, Ethan. Is the Total 3 a good bike to completely deck with a high-end RockShox fork, SRAM, X1 cranks, and derailleur? Maybe. I don't know. Arda, I would say if you love the Total, if you love the hardtail, why not? I've got a good deal on my fork, so that's why I did it. It came with a 1x11, so I wouldn't upgrade too much more. At a point, it becomes just a love over a return. What is it? Oh, I'm trying to think of the phrase. I know what it is. Yeah, anyway, it just becomes something. If you love it, you can keep putting money into it, but sometimes it just might not be worth it. Trail Tracers, hop on a YZ250. It will change your life. Ooh, grew up Honda. Always been a Honda man, Trail Chaser, so I don't know if I'm going to switch over. Link your Strava so we can see where you ride. Thanks. Yeah, Eric, I will do that. And Zach, that's sweet. Hey, thank you. Good night. Good night, Zach. All right, with that, I'm going to end my stream, and here's what I have to say. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, who just took the time to click that little subscribe button. It means a ton to me. I've only been doing this for 2 months. I've got 1,000 subscribers. My hope is that it just continues to grow. And really, my goal is just to get people stoked on mountain biking. I love to help people out. That's kind of a goal in my life, is I want to be somebody that helps people out when they're in need. And so you're going to keep seeing videos about pedals and different bikes and comparisons, because I found people are, when they're looking for bikes or looking for things to upgrade, that's what helps them out. So you're going to keep seeing that from my channel. I've realized I did a couple POVs. I might do a couple more point of view shots of me riding. But the truth is, I don't love watching POV videos. After I watch somebody for a little bit of time, I just think, you know what, I've watched you for enough. I think you're a fine rider, but eventually I need to go out there and ride. So I create my videos to encourage people to go out, ride your bike every single day. And that's what I'll keep doing. So yeah, anyway, thank you for all of you. Tell your friends about the channel. I would encourage them to subscribe, and I'm just going to keep creating content that keeps you guys engaged. And as always, if you have thoughts, comments, anything at all, just throw a comment in any of the videos. I try to write back to every single comment. I'm at the point where I can do that right now, and I hope to continue that going strong. So, all right, a couple more things as we close up comments. Crazy Kid Gamer 66, welcome! Best allo pedals for downhill. What's your opinion? Ooh, I love composite pedals because I think they last and wear really well. As far as best allo, I've used a pair of Shimano Saints. I took the spacers out of them, and I thought they were great downhill pedals. Really, I think the Kona Wawa 2s that I demoed in the composite, they have those in aluminum. I think those would be the best because they're huge. I rode them some more today, and I'm liking those a lot more than I thought I would. So, Ethan, these streams are fun. Congrats on 1,000. Thanks, and good night. Good night, man. Thank you. Thanks for your videos. Keep them up. Great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it so much. Like I said, if you're ever, I just want to put out there as I close up this stream, if you're ever in the Washington area, hit me up. I would love to ride with people. Riding with people is my favorite thing to do. I love making new friends and connecting with people on the trails. So if you're ever in the area, hit me up. And I am looking to travel in the future. Not anywhere specific, but things for work. So if I'm in an area, I'm definitely going to let people know so that if they're around, I will travel with them in more weekend streams. Audra, that is my true hope. Friday night streams, maybe Saturday or Sunday. I will keep you guys posted. All right, thanks again, guys. That's it for me. If you're not watching this live, I hope you liked the video. Click a like, put a comment below, and I just love connecting with you guys. And if you weren't able to watch the stream but wanted to, let me know what time that works for you. You can direct message me or comment below in the video, and I would love to figure out a time that does work. All right, last questions. When will you reveal your job? Never, Arda. I will never tell people what I do until I meet you face to face. Sorry. If you are in another country, just fly me out there, and then I'll tell you what I do. So I won't tell you. It's a secret. There's not enough secrets in this world. Bear traps for DHCP pedals. I've never heard of bear traps. So Highland is great for travel, just saying. That is true, Ethan. I would love to get there. Bye, and Canada. Arda, Canada's not too far. All right, guys, that's it. No more comments from me. Thank you once again. Tell your friends about the videos. And as always, I have to end my live stream like I do my videos, right? So whatever you do, even if it's 9:14 p.m. here in Washington or 12:14 on the East Coast, or you're in another country and it's the morning, whatever you are doing, take a minute, take a break, get off your computer, and please go ride your bike. And don't just ride your bike, do what I do. I go outside, I jump on my bike every single day, do some wheelies, I jump off some curbs, because I've realized something, that you can watch all the content in the world, but until you go and do it, that's what actually is going to make you better. All right, thanks guys. I've got to cancel off my stream here. And as I do that, I will say thanks again for watching.